Jen, the plan is to have this facility closed by July 1st. Now, this announcement comes as the number of incarcerated people has dropped by over 3,000 the last 10 months. Since last July, the population at Northern Correctional has not exceeded 100 inmates. Closing this facility will save the state over $12 million annually, and the closing of the facility will not result in any layoffs, the state says. Inmates will be transferred to other facilities. Now, this maximum security facility has faced controversy over the years. Just last week, a lawsuit was filed claiming that inmates with mental illness are being physically and psychologically abused at Northern Correctional Institution. The lawsuit, filed by Disability Rights Connecticut, says the Department of Corrections' use of prolonged isolation and in-cell shackling of mentally ill prisoners is cruel and unusual punishment that violates their constitutional rights. Now, I got a chance to speak with the executive director of the ACLU of Connecticut tonight, and he said he wants to see that money being saved by this closure put back into the community.
Realistically, we know which communities have been hit hardest by mass incarceration. These are Black and brown communities in Connecticut who are really starved for resources for reentry, housing, mental health care, education. So these are funds that can be put to use immediately in this next budget cycle.
So far, the governor's office has not specified where this money would go. Now, according to the Department of Corrections, Connecticut currently has an incarcerated population of around 9,100. That's the lowest it's been since 1989. Connecticut's inmate population peaked back in 2008 at 19,894 people. I'm Ashley Afonso.